There is one question I have always asked myself. What will happen if oxygen, you all know oxygen, we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. What will happen if oxygen suddenly just stops on Earth? If our planet loses oxygen, what will happen? I have seen countries whereby they've not experienced rainfall for a very long time, and the plant suffers as a result of this, and there was not enough water for circulation. What about oxygen? What will happen if oxygen suddenly just goes away from planet Earth? Does this mean life as we know it will cease to exist? What is going to happen to life as we know it? Aquatic life, terrestrial life, the various forms of lives that depend heavily on oxygen. What's going to happen to them? And the human race, we cannot survive without oxygen. We need oxygen desperately. And I've seen situations whereby people even carry oxygen tank just because the oxygen at the moment that we breathe in is heavily polluted. What will happen to us if oxygen gas no longer circulates in our planet? From my education in secondary school, I know some other planets, they have low oxygen levels. Some planets don't even have oxygen. Mercury, for example, Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, these planets, I think the reason why there's no life on these planets is because obviously the oxygen level is not high enough for it to sustain life or for a human being to live in those conditions. Even sometimes when we take a dive into a pool or we take a dive into the water, and let's say we hold our breath underwater for 1 minute, 2 minutes, at some point, because you don't have that sufficient oxygen, you feel like you're going to pass out. So people who don't have that good diving skills or cannot hold their breath underwater for a very long time quickly will jump out of the water. What about oxygen going away on planet Earth? So many things will be impacted heavily. Even the ozone layer, the planet, how the planet works, the whole mechanics, the whole engineering of planet Earth. What is going to happen? That is a very interesting question. I believe scientists can give us a definitive answer. But human or life as we know it will be very, very difficult. And just imagine oxygen goes away and suddenly there is a black market or underground business for oxygen supply. Just imagine that. During the pandemic, people were running after tissue paper, people were running after food, people were running after different supplies, people were running after basic necessities to live and survive. What about oxygen? As much as there's so many research, so many studies, and so many experiments going on with the planet, what about the planet now suddenly just decide and say, okay, that's it. I've had enough with human activities. I've had enough with climate alterations, climate change, all these projects. I've had enough. I'm going to take away the oxygen from you guys and let's see what you would do. That would be a very, very interesting one. Leave your comment. Leave your comment below. What will happen if oxygen suddenly leaves planet Earth.